Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Bashem Rakal Kodash. My name is Yakalba from Plaintables Camp in Philly. Go to Ezekiel 38:4, Gog and Magog. All right, referring to the Russians. All right. It says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company, with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." Then it goes into the nations whom Gog and Magog, the Russians, are going to protect. At times, the world powers, they work together. They control. They start wars, they control wars, they control the economy, they make it go up and down, and they pledge their allegiance, to the whore, America. But it's going to come a day when the Russians are going to use a nuclear arsenal against the whore. All right. It's the same way of, you pledge your allegiance to the leader, the whore, America. But that's a dangerous, a power to pledge your allegiance to. So while y'all playing, a little sick little game and, controlling the world's economy and, and other things, all the nations do that, that are in bed with America, make it, fluctuate, make people poor, make other people rich, create crises. You're dealing with a scorpion, a serpent. All right. So y'all working together, you got to watch out for yourself, because he could just turn against you at any time, So America plays dirty. All right. So what's the prophecy? "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army." So that's what's going to be the end goal. Well, that is the end goal. That's the what the Russians are eventually going to do. All right. So they can, have, a certain, agreement to lie about, science, what's in space, wars, history. They can get together and lie on that, but Russia, those European countries, the African countries, South American countries, they agree with the whore, but it's going to come a day when they're going to say, we can't trust this double no more. All right. Now, I'm going to play a video first. This is September 21st, 2022. She'd already heard about this. Russian mobilizes 300,000 Russian troops, warns West over nuclear blackmail. All right. So they're basically saying they about each other. I believe Russia said it first. Now they're saying Russia's doing the same thing. So they're saying about each other. But I believe Putin made a statement first about nuclear blackmail. All right, let's read it. I'll translate. "I think it's necessary to support the proposal to conduct a partial military mobilization in Russia. I repeat, we are only talking about a partial mobilization. Only people currently in the military reserves will be drafted, prioritizing those who have served in armed forces and have particular military specialization and the corresponding experience before being sent to serve. Those drafted will have mandatory additional training relying on experience gained during the special military operation. The decree on partial mobilization has been signed. In its aggressive anti-Russian policy, the West has crossed every line." This is February video, by the way. This is not. I remember this footage from February 2022. I believe the Ukrainian citizens driving through, looking at the Russians. We hear constant threats against our country and our people. So irresponsible politicians in the West speak not only about delivering. See, yeah, so they can agree, but that's a very dangerous agreement to have with a fucking monster. So even though the different nations they agree with America, they gotta be like, they gotta have their guard up when they playing. It's like playing with a lion or a snake. Scripture, who shall pity a charmer when he roughly paraphrasing, is charming a snake. Now, you having fun, you maybe getting some benefits, but at any moment that snake could strike and bite you. So they got to be pretty much partially agreeing with them and partially against them. That's a real sick, twisted, mindset or posture to have. But these nations seem to do it. It tells you that the nation's going to give their power and strength to the beast, which is the different European powers. Make up to 10 horns. There were some irresponsible politicians in the West speak not only about delivering Ukraine long-range weaponry missiles, systems that would allow Kiev to strike Crimea and other Russian regions. These acts of terror, including using Western weapons, are already being carried out in our in border regions in Belgorod and Kursk regions. Even nuclear blackmail has come into play. We are talking not only about the shelling. Yeah, the Russians are occupying this nuclear power plant, and they're getting hit with drones and other artillery. Like, if you don't know that this whole war is a big ass psyop, you must be mentally retarded. Which threatens to unleash a nuclear catastrophe, but also about statements. Yeah, you have Ukrainian Western forces are shelling and shooting, the drones that's crashing in to this place while the Russians are occupying it. They took it over, and nobody seems to say, like, don't do that, stop. If you're gonna go fight Russia, don't do it near the nuclear plant. That double mind. This is how you know that the America and those European powers don't care about the Ukrainian people. By some high-ranking representatives of leading NATO countries on possibly and admissibly of using weapons of mass destruction. Because NATO has nuclear weapons against Russia. Nuclear weapons. I want to remind you, those who allow themselves such statements about Russia that our country also has a variety of weapons of destruction, and in some areas even more modern than those in NATO countries. And if the territorial integrity of our country is threatened, we will without question use all the means at our disposal to protect Russia and our people. This is not a bluff. And those who try to blackmail us with nuclear weapons should know that the prevailing winds can also blow in their direction. So if you, what do you say? So if you try to blackmail us along with who's already trying to blackmail us, those winds, that nuclear fire can come in your direction. Prevailing winds can also blow in their direction. Says we cannot have no more right to hand over our loved ones to the executioners. We cannot fail to respond to their sincere desire to determine their own fate. the parliaments of Donbass People's Republic, as well as civil military administrations of Kherson and Zifia, pronounce that, regions have decided on holding referendums to determine the future of these territories. And ask the U.S., so ask Russia, U.S., and ask Russia for support. We will do everything to ensure safe conditions to hold the referendums so that people can express their will. We will support the decision on their future made by the residents of Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republic. Luhansk. We have talked about it for a while, but I must mention our losses. Russian Defense Minister. As of today, we have lost 5,900 people. 300,000 reservists will be called up. I want to say straight away that this work will not be carried out as a one-off, but in a systematic, planned manner, as I've already said. All right. So, yeah, this was September 21st, and you look up. It says, in Russia, is Russia talking about using nuclear weapons, just hot air, or Moscow's warning is serious? All right. And just the other day, Moscow sharply upped the ante in the standoff over Ukraine. It gave the go-ahead for referendums and territories. That's just what I just read. And you saw formerly controlled by Kiev and announced a partial military mobilization. That's 300,000. Also, again, issued a reminder that its sanctions are backed by the world's most powerful weapons. This was immediately dubbed nuclear blackmail in the West. All right, so Russia was saying nuclear blackmail first, and now what the NATO and America is using the same term. All right, so why are we hearing these hints over and over again? Is Russia really prepared to use such force? Now, so you get the picture. And they have new sanctions against Russia. It says the EU state threatens to block new anti-Russian sanctions. Budapest will not support. Where's Budapest? That's Czech or Hungary. Slovakia. Yeah, Hungary. Hungary has done a lot already to maintain European unity, but yeah, because the European Union is going to fall. They're going to break up. Partly strong, partly broken or weak. But if there are energy sanctions in the package, we cannot and will not support it. Right, so we are waiting for a final full list of sanctions, and then we can negotiate about it. He added, Hungary cannot support energy sanctions. So again, I don't know what is that planned too? I don't know. I don't think so. I think the European Union is crumbling, and soon you're going to have America, the horror, on the run. All right, it could take a couple of years, but this is the ground stage being set of the breaking up of the European Union, and ultimately the European Union turned their back on the whole America, and them using their nuclear arsenal, against each other. Russia going to hit their shoot their missiles on America, and whoever has control of NATO's missiles, and they're going to use those missiles to hit their enemy. All right. So, So America runs NATO. So does America have direct control, or do those countries have control? I mean, direct control. Either way, Yahushua, he controls those. That's the army of the Lord. So he has control ultimately. That's who really has control. All right. It says September 29th, Hungary cannot support any new energy sanctions against Russian government. All right. What else we got? Is Russia talk about nuclear weapons, just hot air? So it says a difference. No, I had it down. It says the harder you push us and the more you drag us into this conventional conflict in Ukraine, the closer the nuclear scenario will be, both tactically, strikes against specific targets in the theater of operations, and strategically intercontinental missiles. The more you try to pin, what the hell is that? Maybe add or something. The more you try to pin us down, the less choice you leave us. There can be no winners in a nuclear war. That's not true. I mean, what, the people that shoot missiles at each other, they're not going to win. But the Lord's people are going to be, the elect of them anyway, are going to be protected from the nuclear fire. So your military victory in Ukraine is impossible. All right. Thus, you have two options: either continue to help Kiev or withdraw your direct backing. Ukraine will lose either way, and you can lose with it, or you can limit your involvement and survive. Whoa, who said that? That's fierce. Oh, Russia is telling the West. Okay, that's pretty much what they said. Okay, so he pretty much gave a summary of that speech that Putin gave. But that's only part of the speech. I don't think that was the whole thing. That was a clip from the global news, I think it was. Yep. Global news. Yep. All right. Yeah. And I read Ezekiel, so Revelation 11 and 14, and I'll close it out. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. The point here is woe. And it means a exclamation of grief. So surprise, anger, a sudden cry of grief, deep sorrow is caused by someone's death. All right, whoa, whoa, whoa. That means prophesied in Revelation 11 that there were two great deaths that happened. All right. Two great wars. Now there's going to be a third war, a third exclamation of grief. All right. And well, I got one more. It says, "Hurt not the earth," because those it can't go nuclear until until those it says servants are sealed. It says, "Hurt not the earth and the sea." It says, Revelation 7 and 2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having a seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, because the four angels are controlling the Russians and controlling the whore and NATO, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads." So the war, it can't go hot, so to speak, until the prophecies are fulfilled. The prophecies are not fulfilled yet, so it can't go hot. The beast mark has to come to pass, because when this happens, when the earth is hurt, that's the end. The kingdom of heaven is coming. The kingdom of heaven is going to come down from heaven. All right. Those angels are set up to bring the plagues. All right. The main plague, which is the nuclear fire. the third woe. All right. So then it says the Israelites were sealed. And I know how it started off with the Israelites, and it gives you their respective tribes. All right. Then you got these fake Christians that how is this talking about everybody on the earth that's a believer? This is just stupid. It's clearly talking about the biological Israelites. It names their tribes, for goodness sakes. All right. It names names the tribes, but yet it's talking about everybody. Like, come on, man. And a great number is referring to the Israelites. We look up kindreds. And you got people scattered within the nations. We already did detail lessons on what nations mean. Just got to look it up. Fule. In the New Testament, all the persons descending from the 12 tribes are the sons of the patriarch Jacob. Right? Let's type in Gentiles, Plaintables, Plaintables, Gentiles, meaning of Gentiles. Let me see. Yeah, just type in our channel name and then put Gentiles next to it. And you'll get a wealth of information. So, I mean, you got Gentiles, exercise domain over. That's referring to the natural Gentiles right there. All right, so there's really no excuse to understand this stuff. So, I mean, these are simple questions you shouldn't be asking. You should just be. It's incumbent upon you to do the research. All right, information is there. No excuses. You see a word you don't mean. Oh, what this said, oh, that means that. But what do the other words mean? Well, look, we done videos on it. All right, other brothers have done videos on it. You type it in, it'll come up. All right, so that was it. All right, so. I hope you edified. Shalom.